Hey folks, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. Hang out with this nerd.
Nerdarchy's Ted.
You know, it's so weird doing the live chats anymore because, like, we used to have everything like right here and it's in our face, and it's like now everything is like spread out across the room, and it's like, are we doing a live chat or is me and Ted just talking? What's going on? And then it's even worse when Jake's here, and Jake's over there interning, doing intern stuff for us and helping us out. Because, like, we don't have any devices in front of us. We have no idea what's going on. Nothing can be going on.
So it's like, I can't see the chat. I don't know who's there. So hey to everybody that's hanging out with us today. We don't know if it's working because we don't have the computer facing us.
I imagine it's working. We got Jake over there to talk.
Well,
it's not.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is like we usually have the visual confirmation. And this time we don't.
Well, yeah, but even like if you look at when we first started doing these, like everything, all the gear, all the equipment was like you guys couldn't see it, but
like we could reach out and just touch it.
Yeah, it's just a couple feet away. Now it's like on the other side of Ted's basement practically. It's like Siberia. Might as well be.
My basement's not that big, dude.
So we got a lot of cool stuff going on. We got a big announcement that we want to put out there. Also, we have a little bit of a plea we'd like to put out there because this anything has been going on for a while, and we've never been nominated.
That's true.
But it's weird. Like, I think you have to actually nominate yourself, and then they will choose you or not choose you.
And that in and of itself is,
And they don't have a YouTube section, right? So it's like you have to enter as podcast, I guess. And there's also a website and blog. So which would be really cool if all you folks out there who really appreciate what we do and you think what we do matters and is important, or if you just have nothing better to do, if you could go over to the Ennies and write us in for website, blog, and podcast. Because there's no YouTuber, video streamer. You would think too, with everything that's going on, like Matt Mercer can't even get nominated for any of those things.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, although he's made a couple of products, so his products could get nominated.
That is true.
So, and I'm sure if anyone did nominate his products, then they would win.
Yeah,
it wouldn't even matter how good they are; they would just win. It's Matt Mercer.
I don't know. He had a lot of apologies at the end of Thursday night's game.
Dun dun dun.
So I'm continuing to watch the new game. I actually managed to watch a couple episodes of Campaign 1 this past week as well. But oh man, did the latest episode it ended harsh. I'm just never going to be someone that likes watching D&D. It's the same with sports. Like I was like, why would I want to watch these guys get sweaty and run around with the ball? I wouldn't mind being the guy getting sweaty, running around with the ball and playing the game. But I feel like the same way about RPGs. I'd rather be doing it than watching. I totally understand that point. For myself, I always enjoy entertainment, and when I found books on tape, audiobooks, however you want to classify it, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I can be doing X, and being entertained at the same time. It's vastly different than just listening to music. And since I have a very just, sit in my chair and do my work kind of job, I found that, switching over to a good D&D show is something that I can do every so often. It does pull me away and I work a little bit slower, but I get to be entertained and
It's only work anyway. Who cares about that?
Well, I work salary, so it doesn't matter. Like, my job has to get done regardless of how many hours it takes me to do it. So
good point.
For me, it's like, oh well, this sucks. I got I gotta work longer because I was listening. So there's sometimes I do have to unplug from that stuff and put on something that's gonna get me more motivated to get the job done.
Yeah, I found the problem for me was like I tried doing that, but then it's like it becomes background noise that I don't even know what's going on. It just sounds to me at that point.
It does take a little bit of work getting used to brain partitioning of, okay, well, I'm going to get my active brain to type and read and research as I do customer service, as well as still keep the active part of my my perception onto what's going on. And every once in a while I do miss something because I have to focus more heavily on what I'm doing, or as is equally chance, I get more focused on what's going on in the entertainment and less focused on work, and I have to go back and redo.
I find that my brain barely functions at the higher levels, so There's no partitioning. It's either working or it's not.
Fraginator has a question.
Oh, what's up, Frag?
Dave, now that there are fewer videos coming out this week, or out during the
I know exactly what
will you have time to upload the live plays?
I'm going to ransom them. I'm going to ransom them.
Only to this Patreon level.
Actually, I was actually going to try and do that this weekend, but I had some like tech problems at home that took up way too much time yesterday, and definitely put a damper on that. For some reason, my router does not want to do the router thing and give Wi-Fi to the rest of the devices in my house, and I have to hardwire my computer to make it work. And I spent way too long trying to figure out how to get it to work. But yeah, I'm gonna have to sit down and just like do a bunch of editing and rendering and just throw them up. Although I may throw them up as whole videos and be like, here they are.
Well, Critical Role was like 5.5 hours with the latest session, so it's
our games are not.
No. I am not in any way trying to compare the two. I'm just saying like that people do watch in those lengths. So if people are indeed interested, and we know that we've got fans out there that are.
I know Alan keeps asking me. I don't even think he watches our other videos. He just wants the gameplays.
But I know we got a handful of fans out there that they do come after us pretty regularly. They'd be like, hey, any updates?
So we're planning on doing a giveaway today. So we also have to announce the giveaway for next month, which we got some cool stuff for you guys. And then we're just going to do a random giveaway. It's like, here's the pile. Ted's going to reach over and pull something out.
A couple weeks ago, when Dave was over in France, and I had talked about trying to lighten the load. So, maybe not every single week, but, pseudo regularly, I want to just, grab something and be able to say, hey, I'm going to send this to, somebody who's watching. So we do have, as Dave says, we have a giveaway that we're announcing this week for our Patreon. The only way to do it is to support us on Patreon, or if you go over to the website, go over to the contest, download the form, print it out, fill it out, mail it into our P.O. box, and then you get an entry in.
It's not actually a Patreon giveaway. I misspoke. That's a lie.
It's a monthly giveaway that we do for those people who either fill out the form or support us on Patreon. Not affiliated with Patreon or YouTube. Just something we like to do.
If you happen to be a patron, we just fill out the form for you. So we've got that going on. Begged you guys for the Ennies. We're going to do a random giveaway today. What else?
I wanted to do a shout out. He may or may not be listening, but I ran into a random Nerdarchy fan. So hey, Duncan, met him yesterday. Is odd. Every once in a while I'll go.
He was
places.
giving you drugs, right?
I was at CVS, and he did work there. So
giving you drugs.
It's actually for my son.
Oh, giving your son drugs. Okay, much better.
So it was like, I always love that, that odd question of, hey, are you on YouTube? You look familiar.
Nope, just got one of those faces. You know me from porn, probably. Really big in porn.
So, yeah, Duncan, he's like, I got a weird question. And as soon as he said it, I'm like, all right, he's got a gamer look to him. He's a little bit pulled back, and I'm like, all right. I smiled. He asked this question.
Your game dar went off. Is that what happened? Your game dar went off.
That's a new one. I haven't heard that one.
You got a ping. But this guy knows about D20. I got the feeling.
He had that look of a dwarf to me. Like
dwarf.
he had the bright red hair, the big bushy beard.
Our peoples.
Yeah.
Beards. Nice.
So, Duncan, it's cool meeting you. He says he found us 2 months ago, and he liked it so much that he went back to the beginning, and he's got the goal to watch all the videos.
Nice. Speaking of giveaways, there's a pretty decent one we're doing over at Saber Dice.
Yeah.
We're doing what is it? It's a set of metal dice from Norse Foundry for your GM and their players.
Oh,
up
nice.
to 7 sets. So if you have a much bigger group than that, so you're going to decide who's boned and who's not. Or I guess you could just keep them all yourself. No one will know unless they're watching. They hear your name called. But yeah, so I mean that's a nice giveaway. It's with shipping, that's like over $250.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And they can double as sling stones or sling bullets. So
especially the D20s and the D12s.
I'm thinking that D4 could be pretty wicked. Especially
it's not going to be quite as aerodynamic.
No, but that's when you use the slingshot or the wrist rocket.
That's true.
It's just you can put that right through someone's skull.
Yeah.
I wonder what the ballistic reports are on a metal dice.
You get the D8 on a wrist rocket. You get it pointed just the right way.
Could be good. Sharpen the edges. Nice. Not just for rolling.
So it's a shame. I've been part of Saber Dice, so I guess I don't qualify for that contest.
I don't think so. Yeah, so I don't have a link in the description. I should have put one. You can find one though over on the Twitter for Saber Dice. There's been different ones on the Nerdarchy Facebook, the Saber Dice Facebook.
Any of our mods that happen to be in, if you want to go grab that, I would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, that would be actually pretty cool. They were also one of the sponsors over at D&D in the Castle, so that was cool. So I actually have like a set of their gemstone dice, a set of their metal dice. Nice. But speaking of dice, Nerdarchy's dice of choice is these roller dice, and they have another Kickstarter going on for this super large. It's like a bucket of rolling for your dice. It's like
I think it's a decent size, but it's not a bucket.
It's like a 5-gallon bucket. You put your dice in, shake it up. It's got like the lid, and then you throw your dice on the table when you for that big sneak attack or the fireball or meteor swarm.
No. For the ancient red dragon's breath weapon.
Well, that would work too.
That's what you need.
Ancient red dragon that sneaks with a breath weapon.
Oh, it's a 20th level rogue. So he's gonna
absolutely attack. Assassin. Yeah. Absolutely. But no, they're extra large dice cups, and they got the cool designs on them. Easy Roller Dice has grabbed some of the cooler designs I think out there that they've been using.
Yeah.
And they're putting them on there, so you can check it out. There is a link in the description for that though.
There is.
Nerdarchy's Ted was on point with that.
Yeah, I mean,
and also our RPG Kickstarters, they fit in the description.
Oh, they're back on there. Oh, wow.
And of course, the Kickstarter corner will go up on the website tomorrow.
Oh, well, that's amusing because there's stuff that now that they fit there, I have to amend what I'm doing because I was giving the stuff to Doug. So there's some Kickstarters that were there last week that are ending today. So if
you would okay,
they didn't stay because they wouldn't be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if you want to know all the sponsored things, go check out the article from Sunday, which should be down there.
Yes.
So if you go to the Kickstarter corner from last Sunday, 6 days ago, that's going to have some more options for you.
Sweet. Yeah. So we got before we ran out of characters, and now we got an extra 1,000 to 2,000 to play with. Well, so many characters, all the characters.
With doing 10+ videos a week, and up to 14 articles, that was a lot of stuff. So
true.
Paring down a little bit.
Well, not only that too. I think going forward, we're just trying to really focus more on quality over quantity, like we've done in the past. Not to say we weren't trying to do quality content before, but it was at a production level that was a lot less than we're doing now.
So, any questions for you guys out there? Anything?
Actually, show them what we're giving away today.
All right. So today we are giving away a copy of Coolin'. This is a cool dice game that I somehow got a second copy of. So it's been sitting on the shelf for a while. It wasn't enough to just throw in as, by itself, or didn't really fit with the other things. So somebody today will reach out to you, figure out how we're going to do it before the end of this thing.
I know, we're going to probably use our usual highly scientific method.
Oh, I think the usual highly scientific method that we used last time didn't work. We had to pick somebody else the following week.
Well, that's true, but it wasn't our fault.
Okay. Well, we're gonna blame that guy because he can.
I blame I blame the participant. So at the end of the chat, we're going to pick someone randomly who left a comment, who said something in the chat, and we're gonna call your name out during this live chat, and then you're going to email us. And if you don't, I don't know what we're gonna do.
Well, then we just give it away next week.
Something like So next maybe we'll do it. It'll be like the lottery, like the Powerball, where it just keeps growing. So like that's definitely what we're going to do. If they don't claim their prize this week, and we decide to do it to giveaway next week,
So we'll get this and then something else.
yeah,
Okay.
and it'll just keep building until.
All right, that I can get behind that. And then our monthly giveaway, which we can announce. I've got a copy of Dark Places and Demigorgons, as well.
I believe that's Eric Blue. He's been on the show before in
Yes.
the past.
And they sent us 3 copies. We've given one away, and a core rulebook of Starfinder. So this was sent to you from Paizo, right?
Yes.
So we've got it. This will be given away first week of August. Now that's when Gen Con is. So we have to figure out whether we're going to have a live chat that week, or whether Nate and whatnot are going to man the fort without us.
Nate and whatnot.
And whatnot.
I'm not sure which whatnot is going to be, because most of us will be at Gen Con.
Well, yeah, Jake and Doug and the 2 of us will all be there. So
Doing Gen Con things.
we'll have to figure out how that's going to happen. But we can figure that part out. But that will be the monthly giveaway, and
We should also probably mention in the description, you guys can find a link over to Nerdarchy, the store, to a specific product, and that is the product that we launched this past week, Mageforge Secrets of the Vault Volume 1. So this is going back, way back to 2016. We've collected all the Mageforge stuff. We've created, we polished it, cleaned it up. We made sure it was written in human this time, or common, depending where you're
what about
from.
basic? It could be written in basic.
No. Are you trying to get us sued? We cannot go against Lucas or the mouse, especially not the combined forces of the two. But yeah, we added some art to it. We made some changes. I think we made it better.
I agree. I really like what's there. I'm super excited to see some stuff that we made a while ago getting the resurface. Like, it's like, okay, submarine comes back, and
like an alien popping out of your friend's chest.
the people who have found us since then now have a chance to get a hold of this pretty cool material.
Yeah, and if you already have gotten it, let us know what you think. Leave a review over on the site. We greatly appreciate it. We've got 1 5-star review over there so far. Woohoo! We could use some more. It definitely helps to get the word out. Of course, we appreciate all your support. So with that, we had no games tonight.
This would have been normally the week for my game, and there's some scheduling conflicts, and as we're really getting close to the end of the game, I'm trying to make sure we can get as many people playing, because it's a bit rough to miss out on sessions as you close in on the end of a campaign. I've had some wheelings and dealings in the background. I had Jake work on a super secret project for me that's been delivered today.
I almost saw it. I saw red. I
had to block stuff so Dave was not spoiled. But yes, things are happening, and it'll be great. So we'll be playing that next week.
DM Don wants to know, when are you guys coming to one of our Drinks and Dragons night? It sounds like we need to have a field trip.
Has there been any formal invitations?
Yes. Well, it depends. What do you consider formal? Like, did someone show up in the library and like blow a horn and invite us? No. But they keep saying we do this thing.
Okay.
Come
well,
check it out.
I think it's probably been going to you, because not that I'm super active in that kind of stuff, but we'll talk.
Yeah, we will figure something out. I guess the big thing, we're not like big drinkers either, so that's part of it.
I don't drink at all, so.
Although it may actually work out good. Like, maybe I can go drink and Ted will drive me around.
Well, there's definitely been times that you've been the chauffeur, so I can totally do my part and be the.
It's always the third stringer.
Since I don't drink, I can totally be the designated driver.
Yeah, you know what? We'll set something up. We'll figure out, if not this month, then next month. We can just do it.
We can plan something, and therefore we can get it advertised, so that like, hey, Nerdarchy's going to be there.
You're gonna be like, who?
Well, I mean, we can talk about it here. I mean, I've literally mentioned something today that I met a new fan that's local. So
They do exist. Yeah.
They do exist. We know that we've got Matt and Alex that are at my my local grocery store. We got Enrico, who is over at the Wawa that we.
I don't know anybody.
Well, you don't know the names, but I've interacted with them and taken the time to know their names. So that's Matt, Alex, Enrico, Duncan, and they're all like right here in my local haunt. So
Ted has a whole cult thing going on here. They're gathering. It's gonna be like a drum circle from South Park. We're gonna need death metal to break it up.
Sometimes.
Or is it gonna make it grow? I don't know. It may drive you away.
Depends upon how harsh you go with the metal.
Slayer. So I think today Nate uploaded his gameplay.
He did. That's actually one of the links below. I think he said.
I was surprised too. I didn't know. Like I was in there doing something. I'm like, where'd this come from? I didn't put it here.
I looked at it. I'm like, okay, well that definitely goes with gameplays, not with the regular videos.
So one of the questions too is like, how do you guys and gals feel about the new setup, the new videos, with us doing the 3-camera shoot? How do you guys like the content? We're trying to pour more time and energy into it as well. So I saw you also wrote an article over on the website. You've been writing a few of them.
There's a collection. There's more to follow. Which one are you referring to?
It was a board game one. That's all I noticed.
Okay. There was Professor Evil and the Citadel of Time. That was they were looking for some reviews on the game, and they noticed that Nerdarchy Ted has got a whole bunch of board games in review over there. So they're like, hey, can we send you something to check out? So every once in a while I'll do product reviews and that kind of stuff. I talk about the things that I enjoy and like. I'm trying to get more writing, more voice over there. But
I also wrote a couple articles.
Yeah, what you got?
Well, I think one of them's going up today. I think Doug said that. Let's see. Attending. So one of them is about attending Origins 2018 Nerd Adjacent, and the other one is about True Dungeon.
Oh, cool. That's Gamehole Con said that they've got True Dungeon there. So when we go, they've got something set up for us. So I'm excited about checking that out.
Really? I didn't even see that. I mean, I'm not surprised because Alex Kramer runs Gamehole Con and is also one of the partners for True Dungeon.
Okay, that was one of the emails that we received, and I was like, ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, I have to see. So usually it's like a 10-person run. I forget how many guests are on the list, but there's a lot of guests for Gamehole Con.
Well, they said that they were going to set up some runs for the special guests.
Woo!
So I'm excited about that. See whether any of my LARP experience helps me out. I'm gonna guess no.
No, it won't. It is very
based on what you've told me. So
it's very different. The combat. I actually like the way the combat goes. It's kind of cool in the sense that it's a shuffleboard, and like the monsters, there's a silhouette of a monster with numbers on it. So you have to get into the higher numbers in order to score hits. Yeah, and there's like weird mechanics. If you're a ranger, you have to do both at the same time with each hand. If you're a monk, I think the monk is actually the hardest one for flurry of blows, is because you have to do twice in rapid succession, same hand. The second one is supposed to be off and on its way before the first one lands. So if you're really slow, but it's nice because it like with that setup that they have, I feel like it's more accessible to people. Like you could be in a wheelchair and take part in the combat easily.
That is cool. I
aside from if LARPing, if you're trying to beat things with something. But in Origins, they also did have full-on LARP going on as well. So they had a ton of stuff. So I kind of did an article on my experience with doing True Dungeon, and I got Steph to write something up and Dan Dillon to write something up to throw in there, and then the other one was kind of about going to Origins and finding things to do with my spouse that isn't a gamer or isn't into that stuff, but that I was still, without even really looking that hard, I was still able to find activities that we both were able to enjoy.
Sweet.
So Nerd Adjacent.
Doug has warned that Nerdarchy better bundle up for Gamehole Con to survive the adventure that he's putting together.
Ooh.
Okay.
And then Elfbait wants to know, have you ever liked anything from another group's game and worked it into your own game?
I don't know if I understand the question.
So if you're talking like rules and that kind of stuff, yes.
We steal from everywhere.
You know, that has always been Nerdarchy's deal. You know, steal from everywhere, because you know, if you like something that somebody else is doing, well, somebody else does too. So it's got to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, playing RPGs, and whether it's D&D or another game, it really is about making it your own and customizing it and creating the experience that your group is going to enjoy. So, there are certain things that we've changed that we forgot that we changed, and we just treat them as if they were raw.
So, years ago when we played D&D, Dave and Steve were the core DMs. It was very much a aggressive DM style, and while Dave was not out to kill us, there was no real concern for the players, and I feel like we've moved into a style that is far more like we're telling this story together. Yeah, death can happen, but it's not like, oh, I'm out for death tonight. It's like, oh, well, the rolls of the dice just didn't go your way, so like there's that mechanic that has changed. I know I was in a game session since Nerdarchy started, and like the combat was a round and a half shoved into the last 10 minutes of the session just that there was combat, and I'm like, I had a blast, and I learned that, hey, you can play D&D without really caring so much about rolling dice and just getting into the role playing of it, and that had a profound effect on my game, and that's changed throughout my sessions over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think Elfbait was more in line of like characters or settings, set pieces, more narrative style. Steal from other people and then incorporate.
I think we're more likely to steal from like pop culture and put things in that we think is funny.
It's possible that I've stolen stuff from other games, other players. With 25 years experience, Dave being even longer, I'm certain it's happened without us even realizing it or remembering.
They probably don't consciously go like, "Ooh, I like that character. I'm going to make it an NPC."
Yeah, I don't think I've done that. Not that I can recall.
No, usually we just make them up. That kind of stuff, I'd say not as much. Subconsciously, I'm sure it happens all the time. It's weird to me too. Like, that question makes me think about. We get the question often. It's like, do you mind if I make you an NPC in my game, or if I use one of your characters in my game? I'm like, how would I even know? If you did, go right ahead.
If you're not streaming, or if I'm not watching that stream, how am I gonna know? How am I gonna stop you?
Edward's asking, what are your thoughts on dungeon crawls and other genres, such as space stations, villain lair, or for like superheroes and the like?
Well, I mean, doing dungeon crawls, if that's what you're into, changing the locale, changing the methodology of how all of that functions, that's absolutely superb, because it kind of takes that whole idea and puts it on its side and twists it, and you can then, if you're in a space station as opposed to the whole left right, you now have far more up down. You have open areas that you can be able to look. You can get into ducks where it's like, oh, well, you have to crawl, maybe stealth checks are at disadvantage because you're on metal grating that might get hurt. There's lots of fun things that you can do just by changing the setting without changing the theme.
I've done in a superheroes game, I've done a research station that was kind of like overrun by zombies, and the main villain was oh man, I forget the name. It was like Dreads or something along those lines, but the main villain had dreadlocks, And the dreadlock, like he had like the Medusa-powered anime hair, and
Nice.
yeah, you know, and you played in the game.
Yeah, it's still fun.
Yeah. And you know the dreadlocks were like steel, and they could elongate them and use them as weapons. So yeah, definitely done that research more recently for one of the Spelljammer games I did. I did Inside of a Giant Space Worm as the dungeon. Yes, I totally ripped it off from Star Wars. But the players didn't like pick up on it until the end. They're like,
Right.
"You totally stole that, yo!" Yes, I did. So I just took that one scene though from Star Wars where they hide an asteroid, and I just like stretched it out to a full-on dungeon, and it could have been even longer than that. Like we've talked about this before, anything can be a dungeon.
That is true.
The core mechanical philosophy of a dungeon is just a slow drain on resources. So whatever you pad it with or make it into a beautiful set piece.
Or whatever the set is.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a couple things like draining resources, like you said. Also, a defined space that you can move in is the other, and usually there's different compartments. And so whether you want, a city could be a dungeon, a dead god could be a dungeon. The hole in the ground can be a dungeon. So there's definitely all kinds of things. We haven't done a ton of dungeons that aren't medieval fantasy, only because we mainly play medieval fantasy. But even in Scott's game for Star Wars, we did like a Jedi temple or something.
Yes.
Or was it the basement of Maz's place or Mo's place from?
Did we go there?
I don't know. It was like all traps and stuff. You didn't go.
Oh, okay.
I think you stayed behind because you took over an NPC.
Oh, that's right.
And played the medic, who had to be bribed in order to do medic things. So there's definitely instances where we've done it, but I feel like our game style has gotten away from dungeons a lot.
It's dungeons. If you want to do it properly, it's a lot of combat, a lot of planning. And they're tricky if you want to just do it on the fly. And since a lot of what I do now is on the fly, I've moved away from let's just do combat. I think that it's possible that some of the next sessions in my game might go that way, just based on...
like, we're getting to the end, I'm going to have to write stuff. I'm forced to write stuff because my players won't do anything. This is a way for me to put stuff out there in this game.
I'm trying to correct that, but... I'm only...
There are no Scarlet Sisterhood. With those folks, it would be a waste of time to come up with anything. They're like, no, we're going shopping. For this dungeon.
DM Don asks, when you have 8 or more players, what do you do to help things in order, initiative, and so forth?
Find a second DM to split that group up with.
I was going to say, other than kicking players out, because it's too many players.
It was very, very challenging when... Early part of my game, I had 9 players at the table, and one of them kind of came with a small monster that would attack the table at times. So it was technically 9.5 players.
9 1/3.
9 1/3. There you go. But it was tricky. Like you have to come up with a system that's going to work for you. With I would write down initiative. And I would have to be like, okay, who's going in this group, who's going in that group. If you have a lot of players and a lot of monsters, combat takes a lot of time, so you have to allot for it if you're worrying about how long sessions are. And, combat's become trickier because it's not as challenging because of economy of actions. Like, okay, well, I only got so many orcs. Well, if I want them to really damage the party, I need a crap load of orcs, which is going to then take that much longer. So it's very tricky to try and figure that stuff out, and you have to work on it based on the players you have, the number of players you have, the tactics that they're going to use. All of these work into this bizarre, crazy formula.
Now, I believe DM Don is running Drunks and Dragons, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's talking about when he has large tables there. So that makes it even trickier, because if it's your regular group, your regular table, you can assign jobs, and you can assign the same jobs to people. and that makes it a little bit easier. It's a little harder. I mean, you could assign someone like, hey, just the person to your left or right, like, I need you to track initiative for me, get everyone's initiative, write it down. Here's the spots where I need to go in. If you have one or more spots that you need to be in, it's the GM, and you could get put them in charge of it. And also sometimes it's probably a good job for a more distracted player, if you can get them to do the job. Otherwise, they're just going to botch the job. But if you can get a player that tends to not pay attention to do that job, it would kind of make them pay attention, as long as they take the job seriously.
Cool. And I know that there's a variety of different products or things that you can craft yourself that help track initiative. I know the metal wire that you can paper or use the clothespins on, and you just write the name on both sides, and you as the GM can have things set up as, oh well, this is monster 1, this is monster 2, and then what those correlate to. Those kind of things help. Some use trackers that go across the top of your GM screen, and they just can be like table cards that you would fold over. Whatever is going to work, but those are tools that can help speed that up.
Coville recently did a couple videos talking about having players run the monsters that aren't big name monsters. But Hanover Fist asks, how do you handle players that are all shy about role-playing because they're stuck in the video game mentality and just want a game on rails?
Ask questions that are not yes or no's.
Yeah, you have to direct stuff towards them, and I don't know if it's always just because of video games. Some people are just shy. So you want to do enough to kind of facilitate them playing, but you don't want to make it intimidating where they're like, I'm not coming back because he's going to pick on me the whole time, or she's going to pick on me the whole time. So you have to figure out what the right mix of engagement is, and kind of you're just going to have to kind of watch and see if they seem to be into it, and start slow. Don't browbeat them with it the whole session. And everyone enjoys the game differently. So I kind of look at it this way. I'm like, so what if they don't engage and role play a lot? If they keep showing up and they're having fun and they're playing to their level, it's fine.
That's in and of itself a perfect response. You've got players, and they come to the game for different things. I've talked to players who are like, look, combat is my main thing. I'm here to roll dice and kill shit. And that's what it's about for them. They use it as a stress relief, and they're happy with just doing that. You've got players who are the real thespians who love getting in there and talking, and combat's just a part of the game, and they just suck it up. And there's people that love going and exploring the world. They love seeing what the DM has to throw at them. Not about combat, not about the people, but about the places, about the things that are out there. And that's why D&D has those 3 pillars of D&D. They're great.
I think too, as a player and the GM, you have to step back and try and decide are you trying to transfer your opinion of how the game works on someone else? You guys just might be at different spots for the game, and accept that. And also, I know you're talking about Mark when you said kill shit in combat.
Well, that's exactly his quote. I don't always like to specifically call him out, but yeah, that's his thing.
But the reason why I am calling him out is because then there are times when he'll totally surprise you, and he'll go on this role playing tangent, and that can happen. You just got to give it a chance. And the other thing too is you may not have zeroed in on the thing in the game that engages that player too, so that could be part of it too. Maybe just the sitting around bantering back and forth with other players, they might not care about that, and other players, they live for that. So it's just figuring out what they like. And also too, you could do something really crazy and just ask them, what are you looking for? What would make you engage with the game more? Are you good? Are you happy with where things are?
Be willing to work small and accept those layers of progress. As Dave says, Mark totally will surprise you every once in a while. I'm going to be heavily invested in this. Some players, they really want to get emotional and they want to get heavily involved in what's going on. Others are like, I'm going to role play and I want to keep this light and friendly. Okay, that's fine. But if you are working towards something, be happy with small steps.
Exactly. Where are we at on the time?
We have 20 minutes remaining.
Okay, perfect. We just want to make sure where we're at for the giveaway.
Yeah, I'll give you a 5-minute warning for the giveaway.
All right,
Nice.
so, if you guys didn't hear, we're, giving away a copy of Coolin today. Awesome dice game. Coolin is a fast, exciting, and dynamic dice game in which strategy and luck are combined to make us have a good time. Since there is no minimum number of dice per player, the game can range a varying number of players from 2 to 12 in any age range and anywhere because it's fully transportable. It's a small little game.
So to be eligible for the giveaway, you just have to have left a comment at any point during this chat, and that is how we're going to pick out the winner. So I guess we might as well talk about the big announcement, right? We've been teasing this thing, talking about it for a while. Before we forget,
we mentioned it on the channel update that we had something to announce, and
so we've been working on this for a while and been talking to Adam Bradford from D&D Beyond for months now, since PAX Unplugged, maybe even a little before then.
Yeah, we had a conversation with him. Sat down with him at PAX Unplugged, and I know he had talked to you prior to that, which is how we set up the meeting.
Yeah. So for the next year, D&D Beyond is going to be a channel sponsor for Nerdarchy. We're going to be working in partnership with them. You may have even seen a kind of hint if you look to the description of this video, where you see the D&D Beyond partnership link, where you guys can go over there and check out stuff from D&D Beyond. We have been a fan of D&D Beyond from the beginning, even before we landed the partnership with them. And matter of fact, I believe it was around this time last year. It was right around Gen Con that they launched, and they had the Legendary Bundle. And we were trying to figure out the Nerdarchy finances, and we wanted to get the Legendary Bundle. And we're like, I don't know if we can afford it or not. And we just had a bunch of expenses at that time. But we were definitely going to get it. It was just a matter of whether we got the sale price or not.
Right.
But it just so happens that we had reached out to D&D Beyond, and they made us insiders. So we got all the D&D Beyond stuff, which we were going to actually buy it anyway, because we like using it. It's great for creating content as video creators. We're able to use that database, find what we're looking for fast.
The hyperlinking, or whatever they want to call it.
Hover cards.
Oh man, it is so great. I just need them now to go and do those hover cards or hyperlinks for the lore stuff. Because when we were doing the one video today, it's oh, well, I'm looking on this one monster and it mentions frost giants, but there wasn't a link right to frost giant. I'm like, that would be useful right there. So I could be well, how do these connect up?
Well, they're actually very responsive about adding things when you mention it. If sometimes they just don't think about it or whatever, but they've been very, very good with the community about feedback and taking that stuff in. And the thing is too, D&D Beyond doesn't even do everything that it's going to do in its final incarnation. I can't wait until you can upgrade and downgrade monsters with just a click. Oh, I want this to be a CR5 instead of a CR4.
Yeah, that's something that I'm really dreaming about, because those are the kind of things that I love doing. Well, what happens if you take a troll and
make him a baby troll?
Make him a baby troll, or well, let me cut off one of his arms and it's been burned, so it's not gonna grow back. So now he's only gonna get the one claw attack, and a claw attack does less damage. You could have a lot of fun with it.
Well, it's just nice when it's easy, where you just click a button and do it. As it is now, you can import a monster for homebrew, and then you can use that as your basis and redo it. You can add your own hover cards for your own creations and things. I've done that. I run my own games using D&D Beyond. I'm not very organized in how I run, but I just oh, well, here are some of the things that I'm probably going to use, so I'll have tabs open for that. Even when I run in person, I do the same thing. I end up having to borrow Ted's laptop.
We record on Dave's laptop, and then he runs off of mine. And there's been times where he leaves it all open, and it's you've got 7 tabs of D&D Beyond open. Look at that.
Sometimes he needs out, and I run my Scarlet Sisterhood game the same way. I think it's just convenient and easy, and that's what I used to like about 4th edition. The D&D Insider, they had their own tool set.
Right.
So I like that tool set, and this is This is similar to that, but I think it's going to be way better once they're finally done.
Yeah, and I've greatly enjoyed it. I can look things up so much quicker. The fact that they have tags that they add to stuff. There's like, I want to search for this, and boom, you drop it in there. If you got a monster stat block and it's like, gets access to this spell or this ability, boom, you can go right to it, as opposed to having to pull out another manual and go look up that specific ability or thing.
So some of the ways it's going to change the way we do content now, I think it's going to be for the better. Like when we do character builds that aren't like crazy, 60 levels of character, unless they let us do that on there somehow, we're going to start making them shareable characters, so we'll be able to share them in the link or in the description of the videos we do. So if we do a tank build or a DPS build or whatever kind of build, we'll have a link to it so you can share it with you. If we create monsters or magic items, more than likely we will also create them over on D&D Beyond and its homebrew, and we'll put that over there. They've been talking about doing some cool stuff for us, like creating a Nerdarchy portal, and other ways to find homebrew stuff that we do and other insiders do as well. So that stuff will be pretty cool. I kind of wish that, and it's probably not feasible because there's so few people that actually would need this or want this, and that's like a viewable only campaign where you can write and put all your campaign stuff in there, and it's viewable. That would have been kind of cool for us to do Nerdarchy stuff on. Right. But we are talking about doing that somewhere else, so that'll probably be coming in the future as well. But so in the meantime, we'll be able to share different monsters we make and different characters that we do, and people have asked for it in the past anyway. So with the shareable feature on D&D Beyond, it'll just make it easier.
Indeed. So I hope you guys are excited about that, as we are. It's going to open up some new options for us, and thus for you guys as well.
Well, yeah, hopefully, again, it's doing things like that allow us to upgrade the audio and video equipment so that we can have better production value and put forth better content. And, it's good stuff.
Absolutely. So is there anything else that we have on our agenda for today?
Pray for Nate. Pray to Odin for Nate. He's dying.
Yeah, Nate is not with us today. He's under the weather. He says he was, possibly going to be in the chat, watching from home, but he does not wish.
He popped in for a bit.
He was not wishing to infect us with whatever summer plague he has contracted.
Summer colds are the worst.
Yeah, his symptoms to me sounded like Lyme's. I'm like, did you get bit? Like everything hit that marker, and I'm like,
polio. I think he's got polio.
He's like, there's no bullseye. I'm like, all right, well, you got a fever? No, okay, all right, well then, just stay home.
You gonna go over there and cleric him, medic him
No,
up?
I play a cleric in make believe. I'm not a cleric in real life.
But if you just pray hard enough, perhaps you can lay on hands.
He has childitis, he says.
He's got yeah. Well, I was going to say it, but since he said it, the door has been thrown away. He's got so many kids over there. The chances of one of them not being sick at any given time.
How many is he up to these days?
About 60.
60.
Baker's dozen.
He needs a shoe. He needs a shoe to move them all into.
I hear once you hit 13, you get a free one.
Kids are never free.
Yeah. The cost of that free one. So our family has expanded. We have a new kitten that I came home to.
Oh.
I wasn't very happy about it, to be honest with you.
I'm like, I didn't think that was going to happen anymore, but okay then.
Dave adopted me.
Yeah. Well, I keep offering to put a baby in there, but she's not having it. Like, we can still do it. You're not too old. But you will be soon. You better make a decision.
One more lap around the corral.
Yeah. With one being about to be 14, the other being about to be 18. I think we're about done.
That's an 18-year tax, my dude.
Yeah.
It's like, you're in the home stretch. You don't want to start over.
So they got another kitten while I was gone.
Okay.
Which I forbade. But you see how well that worked.
Well, there's already precedent with Steph. When she was in college, she snuck Precious into the house, and it was living in her bedroom for I think a couple of weeks before Dad heard the little scratching noises.
Yeah.
Fraginator wants to know if it's an a-hole too, this cat.
It's hard to tell yet. It's still really little. They named it Jogo.
Nice.
Yeah, I think they're hoping that by naming it after one of my characters,
That you would like it better?
that I would like it better. And it's really tiny. Like its head is like slightly bigger than a golf ball.
Wow.
Same brain as Joko.
maybe. So
It's gonna surpass them though.
it could very well happen. Yeah. So yeah, I came back from France to a kitten.
No, technically, by that standards, the Adams family has grown as well. Not in the too far distance over there, we've got Fireworks, the beta fish.
Oh really? I just thought it was a tank. I didn't see anything in there.
Yeah, there is a beta fish in there. The kids are always eyeing up the fish whenever we're at PetSmart. So the wife is like, well, we could get them a beta fish.
You should get him a second one for a friend.
No, that would actually not be a good idea unless we're gonna film it and put that up as a
That's a terrible idea, Ted.
You want to have them deathmatch? I'm at least gonna get views out of it.
Oh my god! But I don't want witnesses. You've just offended a huge portion of the internet.
Well, I'm good at that apparently.
I've definitely heard of stories of people having them, and where they have those little like long rectangular small tanks with the slots.
Oh,
and people getting drunk and start removing them.
that is horrific.
Mike Allen asked a question. Sorry, a lot of preamble. How do you speed up combat? I don't like spending sometime over half of the session in one combat. I have 7 players.
We did a video on speeding up combat,
Or 3.
or multiple. Pre-rolling your turn, rolling your damage dice and your d20 at the same time helps. Knowing what you're going to do when it comes to your turn is always helpful. But if everybody isn't on board for doing these things, then it's kind of difficult.
Don't have 7 players.
I think like for me, I like 4 to 6 is a good range.
My group is finally settled down to 5, and it's kind of nice. Yeah, we've lost a lot of players over the years.
Yeah, I think so. Next week we're playing your game, and then after that we're playing my game. But my game is going to be a little diminished. It's going to be 4 of you,
4 of us,
which is plenty. It's more than enough. So I guess we're missing like 2 players, Ryan and Todd. So no Torg and no Falcor.
Yeah, Adam hasn't responded in a while. Kyle bailed out a while ago. Scott bailed out. David has pretty much said he's done. He's not coming back to the game. We had we had Jeremy who rage quit on me. We had the couple that's no longer together that brought Sammy. Totally blank.
That had nothing to do with us, though.
Nothing
they were gone before they split.
They said it was too far to travel for the game, so they left. A lot of players have come and gone out of that game.
Yeah, your game, I think you figured it out. You've had more players come and go than there.
I think I've lost more players than they're currently
in the game. Yeah.
It's pretty amusing.
You're driving them out, Ted, in droves.
It just is what it is. So we crossed our threshold.
We still have Kurt, though.
You got 1 minute. We can start the preamble.
All right, so last call. If you want a copy of Colin, or however you want to pronounce it, fast-paced dice game to add to your game collection, put something in the chat now, because we're gonna do in just a moment a random chat scroll, and we're gonna figure out who is gonna get a copy of this game if they actually pay attention and respond.
Yes. Also, go over to EN World after this video is done and go nominate us or write us in for website, blog, and podcast. That would be amazing.
We would greatly appreciate
would do that. So we'll do the scientific method of scrolling up and down wherever the mouse lands when Ted says stop.
Oh, I'm getting to say stop? All right.
Yeah, you're in charge.
Well, he's not scrolling yet.
I'm not. I want to give him just a little bit because the video will give him a chance to
respond. Oh, yeah,
to
because
that.
of lag.
Yeah. We're at the 5-minute mark.
That's all right.
This is where we told him, so it's
right.
time to start.
I thought he was saying we have 1 minute left and it's almost 3.
No,
no.
1 minute till the 5.
Okay. All right.
1 minute until the 1
Jake
minute.
is just too efficient at doing his job.
Well, we haven't figured out the the Air Force hand codes that he's doing over there.
It's
Oh,
true. Yeah, that's what we do. It's mostly jazz hands.
Yeah. So I think this week I'm going to start trying to do some writing over on World Amble.
Okay.
I'm going to start grabbing our videos that we talk about stuff in our world, and I think I'm going to write stuff.
Okay. That's
But-
pretty awesome. I've got a Google Doc of, Chimes of Discordia, Holzgania, whatever it's called, stuff put together. So if you want to use that as a start,
I could definitely use that as a start.
it's got
You need-
names and places and people's.
You need to do a timeline. We need
Sure.
a map. We need so much stuff.
I think we got to start with a map. and-
We've had so many offers for people to do maps for us. We suck. We just suck. One day we'll do a map.
All right, so we're ready. All right, start scrolling.
I've been scrolling.
Oh, okay. Stop.
I stopped on the text block.
On the text-
On the comments, like my comment.
Well, whoever's below you then.
Alright, it would be Dat British Mexican.
All right. So
Interesting.
that British Mexican, please email us at nerdarchy@gmail.com. Provide us with the
email address?
an address,
Address,
that, we can,
yeah.
that we can ship this to. We do ship worldwide. So let us know. And should you not respond to us by Saturday of next week, we will add this into whatever else we grab, and we'll give it away to somebody else.
So, do you think they're in England or in Mexico?
I'm gonna guess neither.
You're gonna guess neither.
Well, if we figure out how much space there is in the world, chances are likely that he's not in either.
He does say is international okay.
Yeah.
So I'm figuring out where he's at. He's in Mexico.
Okay.
Bam! Nice.
That's
Nice. That's easy, man. We can basically throw that over there.
I was kind of hoping that we weren't shipping to UK because they
Costs more
are.
than the board
Have we
game.
finally shipped to Japan, or did we almost
No,
ship to Japan?
we did not ship to Japan.
We almost shipped to Japan.
We almost shipped to Japan. We had something to send out, and that person never responded, so we gave it away to somebody else.
Nice. Because we hear Japan is the worst place to ship in the world. Not anything against Japan, it's just expensive. Something of that nature. But we know the UK is definitely one of the more expensive ones.
UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Japan are, I believe, the top 3 that I've had to send to.
Or almost sent to.
We almost, yeah. I mean, I haven't shipped to Japan to know for sure, but I know.
It could all be a lie. It could be the cheapest place on earth to send stuff.
No, I think the cheapest place to send stuff is when the person who wins happens to be in your gaming group.
Here. I don't know. Do they qualify? Do we have rules? Do we have special rules? Should we?
Technically, Kurt is a patron, so
He could win.
he did win. His stuff is right there.
No! Why is it there? Why did he receive it? Or is it recent?
It's recent.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, he won the open legend stuff.
Oh, nice. Good. You should run it for us.
That'd be awesome. I imagine Kurt would be a fantastic GM.
Yeah, I would think so. Unless he can only do French drow accents. Turns out.
No. I mean, the first time I met him, he was playing the
the dwarf.
the
dwarf cleric.
Norse cleric.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I do vaguely recall that.
Got 1 minute if you want to do outros.
So, let's sum up. We're giving away, free thing to that British Mexican. Gotta email us.
Giveaway?
Next month's giveaway.
Harass EN World for us.
Dark Places and Demigorgons and Starfinder is going to us. The only way to get a hold of this is to either go over to the website and download and mail us that form under contests and giveaways, or be a Patreon subscriber. Even $1 a month gets you, an entry into this, as well as everything else that you wind up getting through Patreon, including an extra chance of gaming with us. As Dave says, you absolutely, we would totally love it if you would go over to Ennies and, write us in as options for those categories.
Yeah. Also, next week we'll actually be announcing a new monthly giveaway we're going to be doing through Easy Roller Dice, so there's going to be some cool options there. It's going to be like each month we're going to give away, I think, a cup, the bag, set of metal dice,
And a
tray. Yeah, I think so. Basically, each thing that they have, we're going to give away one of those to a winner. So I think that's going to be fun. That's going to be a cool giveaway as well.
That's the problem with being on this side of the camera is like I'm not eligible. It kind of sucks.
I have to pry this stuff out of Ted's hands every month.
I like my Easy Roller Dice. This is my go-to GM bag, and my Easy Roller Dice roll awesome for me as a GM, which is why I don't use them as a player.
So many dice rollers.
So many.
We got the dice trays, but I don't have any dice cups. I don't have some of their new stuff. It's like, come on, man.
With that, until next time,
Stay nerdy.